Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about Love Meg, who just recently released another video under her paid video hosting website that she just rolled out. And this video specifically, I wanted to talk about for just a couple minutes and also discuss why nobody should be taking real financial advice from influencers, especially Love Meg. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep watching. All right, you guys. So, first things first, we're going to go over her Instagram story, and then I want to talk a little bit about manifesting your dream home, manifesting money, manifestation as a general idea. I find it very interesting, but I also find it very abused, especially within the influencer world. So, we're going to talk about that. But first, let's get into her Instagram story. So the first part of her story says, before she edits, she takes a bath, whatever. In this financial video, one of the things we talk about is how we always look for opportunities to make money. Don't be afraid to work when family is around. Don't be afraid to work on vacation, etc. You just have to set boundaries so you still make time for you, your family, and things you enjoy. Always be looking for opportunities to make money because the opportunities are everywhere and limitless, but always have boundaries. Case in point. This idea might apply really well to someone who is in the influencer world, but as we've talked about many times before, 97% of the audience of these mommy vloggers and influencers are usually people that are working full time, people that have one or more children. They might be a caregiver for a sick family member or parent. These are people who do not have an open schedule like an influencer has. So if you want to say, work on vacation, work on this, work on that, to an influencer, that's one thing because A, sometimes their vacations are paid for. Secondly, when we're talking about influencers, we're also talking about people who are able to take multiple vacations within a 12-month span. Now, I will tell you guys what I think of when I think of influencers that get to travel all the time. First of all, fine, good for them. But more importantly, their audience, I guarantee you, there are many people that watch Meg who have not had a vacation in at least 4 years. Guaranteed. Some might be much longer than that, especially with the panini that we're, hopefully kind of moving our way out of at this point. Even if that wasn't the case, taking vacations is a huge luxury for a lot of people. And that's nothing to be embarrassed about or something that you should make yourself feel bad because you haven't been on vacation in X number of years, because that's normal. Work gets in the way, life gets in the way. It's hard to coordinate, both mom and dad being able to take time off work at the same time. If you even have the PTO that you can take off, then let's talk about not having PTO because maybe you used it all to care for a sick child or a sick relative, or maybe you had to take time off because you yourself were sick. If you don't have the PTO, most people are not in a financial position where they can just take time off work and not be paid for that time that they're missing. I understand where she was trying to go with this, but so many times influencers like Meg are so completely out of touch with who is watching their channel. Who's consuming your content? Are these people going to be able to relate to this post? Am I putting myself on a pedestal? Am I coming off sounding a little bit entitled? Do I have privileges that most of my followers don't have? Those are all super simple questions that would take 5 seconds to answer. If she were to reword this just a little bit, and instead of saying, work on vacation, don't be afraid to work when family's around, she could have also said, if you're working a full-time job, set goals of where you want to be in your career path and make those part of your opportunity list. Because I guarantee you not more than 3% of her audience are fellow influencers. I would almost put money on that. For the video that they just put up on her paid site, she posts some of the sample questions. What are you doing for retirement? Investing? Are you debt-free? How do you save money for vacations? What's the best way to invest? Gold, stocks, etc. Please go over budgeting, looking for ideas to invest money in. What's your best investment? How much should I invest? Where do I invest? Please give details on how to handle finances. These are all very serious questions that, in my opinion, should not be fielded to an influencer. They should be fielded to someone who has actual expertise on how to deal with, we're all in different tax brackets, and the financial advice that's given to someone who makes over 6 figures might be a little bit different from someone who is making $75,000 a year versus someone who's making $50,000 a year. So it's just completely ridiculous to ask an influencer where you should invest. It's a terrible idea. And for them to actually accept these answers or these questions as if she has all the answers. Meg is not a certified financial planner. She is not a wealth advisor. She is not someone who deals with money management. She's not a stockbroker. She's not an investment banker. She's none of the above. So why is anyone trusting her with financial advice? It's beyond me.
I feel like there's always room for improvement. So it's like, we can't do this video because we still want to improve in this area. There is stuff to talk about. There is some insight. Tony Robbins is this great coach. He even has a coach, so it's like everyone, even professional football players, they're still coached. I feel like we make money by taking vacations. It's a weird thing, but
we do, and that's our whole point, and that's our whole mindset. What are we doing for our retirement? He's an expert. He's so good at this.
You have to be smart about it, and you have to really pay attention to where you are putting it. And like I said, that's a story for another video because I could talk about that.
Oh, really? I was hoping you'd kind of get into it.
Well, I think, okay.
I could not even fathom reading that book.
I remember getting done with that book, and I told Megan, I said, I feel like I just got a degree in finance.
I'm telling you guys, that's the secret.
So she puts up these little teasers. She's not giving actual answers, of course, because she wants people to go pay for her stupid lovemeg.video site. Her thumbnail says investments, retirement, savings, opportunities, debt, money mindset, and budget. She has this follower who is plugging her video about manifesting your dream life. We're going to get into manifestation and this whole idea of law of attraction in a second. But first, let's listen to Meg's little rant, and then we'll get into kind of the second part of this video.
I saw the financial Q&A is up, and you guys really just saw like a snippet of it in the trailer. Like, the video is 35 minutes long and the trailer is only a minute. There's no way I could share everything that we talked about. And I feel like money.
Well, nor would you want to, because you want people to go pay for your stupid $8.75 a month, have access to these mundane, very useless videos that you're not even qualified to be giving this financial advice. That's what really, really bothers me.
Is like such a taboo thing to talk about, and that's just ridiculous, because we all need money to live and all need money to have entertainment and the things that we want in life. And
we need money to have entertainment. Well, Meg, most of your followers, me included, hello, even though I'm not a follower of hers, I consider myself to be a very middle of the road kind of person. I'm not rolling in the dough. I'm definitely a little better off than I was several years ago. But to say that you need money, and the first thing that comes to her mind is for entertainment, most people are thinking I need money to have a roof over my head and food on my table. So for her to say entertainment so quickly really just reminds me of how out of touch with reality she is.
And we should be allowed to have whatever we want to have and make whatever we want to make. And people have these money struggles because people won't talk about money because it's such a taboo subject. So
it's not a taboo subject, and people have money troubles because they're not making what they need to make in order to sustain a very bare bones lifestyle. There are many people that are living in poverty and, maybe even just a little bit above the poverty line, but nothing is taboo. And to say that we should be able to make what we want to make, well, yeah, sure, but you also can't tell people that are living in poverty that they should rely on the law of attraction and manifestation to better their life circumstances. In my personal opinion, telling someone who is living in poverty or barely able to pay their bills every month that they should rely on your shady advice and manifestation is extremely dangerous. That is almost like telling someone that praying all of their troubles away will work. You just have to pray a little longer. You have to pray a little harder. That is dangerous advice to give to someone that is literally not even living paycheck to paycheck.
I could help one person change their money mindset and help people make more money if that's what they want to do, then
yeah, of course, people want to do that. Everyone wants to make more money, but for her and many other influencers, let's not ever forget that hard work does not equate to wealth. Sometimes luck is what put them in this position. There are many people that work 25 times harder than Meg or any other influencer, and they are barely making it. And they are working their ass off. They're working 60-hour work weeks and hardly able to pay their rent every month.
I'm going to do it. So be sure to check out the video. It's really good.
So as I said, to me, hard work does not equate to being wealthy or having a lot of money, because if you look back at generational stories of, it might even be of your parents or you yourself, there are people who work their hands until they're bleeding for years on end, and they are not wealthy people. So this whole idea of, well, you can have money if you want to do the work doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, because there are people that are doing massive amounts of work and hardly able to live by themselves. And we're not even taking into consideration yet people that have children to provide for, or if they're a caregiver for someone else. We have to take that into consideration too. So this whole idea of poor people being lazy or not wanting it enough is dangerous. And I'm so sick and tired of these influencers that many of them just so happen to fall into the position that they're in because they had a couple videos go viral. They collected a following and they started to monetize everything that they could. They are not the ones that should be saying, oh, you have to work harder, you have to work smarter, you have to be okay with working on vacation. It is completely irrelevant to 97% of their followers. I want to rant for a couple of minutes about budgets, because I've heard many influencers give this piece of advice out. You have to have a budget. You have to start out with a budget. You have to, be organized and have a budget. But my problem with a budget is, right now in my life, a budget is a little helpful. I will admit it's helpful to see my income and expenses on a piece of paper and kind of see my cash flows. But if you take me 8 years ago, when we were really struggling, both of us were hardly making anything. We didn't have an apartment of our own. We didn't have a house full of bills. We were really, really struggling. I'm talking about, ramen noodle for dinner 6 nights a week. When I think of myself back then, a budget wouldn't have helped me, because if you don't have the income, then you don't really have anything to budget for. If you're hardly able to pay your bills and you have $20 left after you've taken care of everything and bought some groceries, having a budget for that isn't going to make any difference, because what are you going to do? Save your last $20 and try to buy some stocks with it? No. So while I will agree that budgets can be helpful for some people, if you are truly struggling to the point like where I was at, a budget isn't really going to do a whole lot, because I didn't have anything coming in. And by the time I paid the bare minimum of what I had to pay, I would literally have $20 or $30 left. It was terrible. I also want to talk about being self-made, because a lot of influencers claim that they are self-made. I hear this all the time. Being self-made is a very small percentage of our population, and I don't even know if I would say it's 1%, because we all start somewhere. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're an influencer, if you're a family vlogger, you got your head start from somewhere, whether it's the fact that you had a viral video, whether it's the fact of you borrowed $100 to buy materials for the business that you started. We all get a little bit of a head start somewhere. And like I said, even if it's $100, I think it's funny when they say self-made, because I'm like, no, your subscribers made you. YouTube made you by monetizing your channel, and your subscribers continued to make you by growing your opportunities, your AdSense check. So I just always think that's funny. They always want to say, oh, I'm self-made, I'm an entrepreneur. But to me, that's just another BS line that they like to vomit all over the place. Something else that I hear very often is that you have to make the right choices when it comes to your money. And while I will agree with that, sometimes, you guys know I'm not into the whole flex culture thing and just buying stuff to keep up with other influencers and you're keeping up with the Joneses, that whole saying. Sometimes it's an issue of having the right resources and the right set of circumstances for you to be able to make the right choices. The thing that I'll say about stocks, and you guys know that I'm not a financial advisor, obviously, but as far as investing in stocks as a person living in poverty or someone who is, living pretty much paycheck to paycheck, to tell those people to invest in stocks is terrible financial advice to give out to people. Because if you think about it, if someone has, like I said, I used to have $20 left over. Let's just say that someone has $200 left over and they are able to either play around with the stock market or put that in a savings account so that they have an emergency cash fund. It is always going to be better to hold on to that money, put it into a savings account so that you still have access to it, versus telling people to gamble away their money in the stock market. That is so dangerous. If that person took your financial advice and they lost their money, these influencers don't care. Do you think that Love Meg is going to care? If she said, in this video, whatever her advice was about stocks, if you took her advice, do you think she would care? No, because that's your problem. You took her advice, and in order to counteract that, I am going to tell you to, if you have the money left over and you kind of feel like, what am I going to do with this? Put it in a savings account, because you never know when an emergency is going to come up, when your car might need to be fixed, if your, pet has some kind of emergency. I know a lot of people with like pet insurance, they don't like pet insurance, but it's always good to have some money saved up, because you never know when life is going to throw you a curveball. So always hold on to your money. Do not play around with the stock market. Again, that's just my opinion. hold on to your money, put it into a savings account, and let it slowly start to hopefully grow. And then you'll have a rainy day fund. If something were to happen, you have to move, you have to buy new furniture, anything that life throws at us. Now I want to talk about manifestation for just a couple seconds, because Love Meg is a big believer in manifestation. She has widely advertised it all over her channel for a while now. And in my opinion, manifestation is BS. It's a lot of mathematical stuff, these like angel numbers, they call them. Sometimes they'll tell you to like write things down like 25 times or whatever, and it'll come true. Manifestation can have a bad side effect on people who already struggle with mental health issues like anxiety and depression, because if they are putting false hope in manifesting money or their dream car or their dream job or getting a better house for their family, essentially what it's doing is it can result in overestimating the power of thoughts and someone's, just the power of the mind. And that can be really scary if you have someone who's dealing with anxiety or depression. Now they're overthinking things, which can be similar to OCD, and you have all of these things kind of clashing, and it can be a real danger to people who already have mental health issues, but it can also affect people who don't have mental health issues, because what they do is they start to just think and think and think and look at angel numbers and do these mathematic equations and watch these videos about manifesting whatever it is that they want to manifest. And instead of, actually trying to make moves to get where they want to be slowly but surely, they become really stagnant and they're just kind of like left alone with their own thoughts. My whole point is that positive thinking alone cannot give you a new car. It can't give you a new house. There's actually a ton of scientific research that backs the fact that positive thinking alone can actually make people really complacent in the situations that they're in. Sometimes it can even make them less likely to achieve goals, because they're kind of stuck in this cycle of just literally being alone with their thoughts. The whole idea of manifestation and laws of attraction and all this kind of stuff is it really allows people to latch on to a belief where there's no proof to back it up. And I can guarantee you a lot of people who are preaching about manifestation are probably already in a really good financial position, and that's why they have a bigger house. That's why they were able to buy the car or go on the vacation. It has nothing to do with positive thoughts or manifesting. It has to do with money. And who do we have to thank for the money? We have YouTube, Google, sponsors, a video going viral. It has nothing to do with manifesting anything, and it makes me feel bad for people, because sometimes I feel like a lot of the people who invest solely in manifestation are also people who will believe that you can pray for things like winning the lottery or getting a new house. It can just always be very dangerous for anyone to rely solely on feelings or thoughts versus factual data and information. So those are my thoughts on this whole Love Meg debacle. Don't take financial advice from influencers, because at the end of the day, they got here by luck and creating content. None of them are doing anything that is spectacular. They just so happen to get in the algorithm, get some followers, and it grows from there. But either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.